The grand opening of the Metropolitan Museum's newest exhibit was the talk of the town. Curated meticulously, it boasted artifacts from around the world, each telling a unique story from ancient civilizations. The exhibit's centerpiece was an enigmatic relic, an intricately carved obsidian statue believed to hold untold mysteries. Its allure drew in large crowds, curious to glimpse at its dark beauty. The buzz was irresistible. My friends and I, always up for an adventure, found ourselves scheming a way to experience the exhibit without the crowds. Ethan, the boldest among us, suggested sneaking in after hours. The idea seemed thrilling and reckless, the kind of excitement that bored young adults craved. We decided to meet at midnight, hoping the museum's legendary security wouldn't foil our plan. Midnight came, and we gathered at the museum's rear entrance. Ethan, with his knack for picking locks, made quick work of the door. We slipped inside, our flashlights casting eerie shadows on the walls. The silence was almost tangible, the kind of quiet that presses down on your ears and makes every creak and whisper seem deafening. As we navigated through the darkened halls, the vast emptiness of the museum at night became overwhelming. The exhibits, which were so inviting by day, seemed to take on a sinister air in the darkness. Our footsteps echoed ominously, and the dim beams of our flashlights revealed only fragments of the ancient treasures, leaving much to the imagination. We finally reached the new exhibit. The obsidian statue stood at the center, surrounded by glass cases filled with relics. Up close, the statue's details were even more mesmerizing. Its eyes, though made of stone, seemed to follow us, and a shiver ran down my spine. Ethan, ever the daredevil, suggested we take a closer look, his voice a whisper in the silence. As we examined the statue, an unsettling feeling grew. It wasn't fear, exactly, but a gnawing unease that something was wrong. The air seemed heavier, and a strange sense of foreboding settled over us. Ethan, oblivious or simply ignoring the tension, started joking about the statue's rumored curse, making light of the legends surrounding it. Suddenly, the air grew colder. I thought it was just my imagination, but the others felt it too. Ethan's laughter died in his throat as we all looked around, trying to pinpoint the source of the chill. Then we heard it, a soft whispering, barely audible, but undeniably there. We froze, our eyes wide, straining to hear the words. The whispering grew louder, a cacophony of voices speaking in languages we couldn't understand. Panic set in as we realized the sound was coming from all around us, yet we saw no one. Ethan's bravado faltered, and we all instinctively huddled closer together, our flashlights flickering as if affected by some unseen force. We tried to leave, but something was wrong. The hallways seemed to stretch endlessly, twisting and turning in ways that defied logic. The museum, once so familiar, now felt like a labyrinth designed to trap us. The whispers followed us, growing more insistent, more desperate. It felt as if the very walls were closing in on us. As we stumbled through the dark, disoriented and frightened, we found ourselves back at the exhibit. The statue seemed to have shifted, its eyes now glaring with malevolent intent. A heavy dread settled over us as we realized we were trapped, unable to escape the room or the whispers that surrounded us. In our desperation, we turned on each other, blaming our predicament on Ethan's foolish idea. Our arguments echoed in the empty halls, but the whispers drowned out our voices, making it impossible to think clearly. Every attempt to find an exit led us back to the obsidian statue, its presence growing more oppressive with each passing moment. Hours passed. Though it felt like an eternity, exhaustion set in, and we collapsed on the cold marble floor, our fear giving way to a numbing resignation. The whispers were relentless, filling our minds with fragmented thoughts and images that made no sense. It was as if the spirits of the artifacts were trying to communicate, but their messages were lost in translation. Just when it seemed like we would be trapped forever, a loud crash echoed through the museum. Startled, we jumped to our feet, our flashlights flickering wildly. The noise came from the far end of the exhibit hall, and for a moment, hope flared. We ran towards the sound, desperate for any sign of an escape. We found a shattered display case, its contents strewn across the floor. Among the debris was an old, weathered book. Ethan picked it up, his hands trembling as he flipped through the pages. The writing was in a language none of us recognized, but the illustrations were clear. Scenes of rituals, sacrifices, and a powerful curse linked to the obsidian statue. Realization dawned on us. The exhibit wasn't just a collection of ancient artifacts. It was a carefully curated prison for the malevolent spirits that now tormented us. The statue was the key, both a guardian and a warden, and we had foolishly unleashed its wrath by disturbing the museum's sanctity. With no other options, we decided to perform the ritual depicted in the book, hoping to appease the spirits and lift the curse. We gathered the necessary items from the exhibit, our movements frantic and uncoordinated. The whispers intensified, as if the spirits sensed our intentions and sought to stop us. The ritual was complex and required precise timing. We followed the instructions as best we could, reciting the incantations and making the required offerings. The air grew heavier with each step, and the sense of dread deepened. It felt as if the spirits were closing in on us, their presence palpable and suffocating. As we reached the final part of the ritual, the temperature dropped sharply. Our breath came out in visible puffs, and the whispers turned into wails. The ground beneath us trembled, and the lights flickered violently. We pressed on, driven by a primal need to survive, to escape the nightmare we had unwittingly entered. With a final desperate chant, we completed the ritual. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, a blinding light filled the room, and the wails reached a deafening crescendo before abruptly stopping. Silence fell, heavy and oppressive, and the air warmed slightly. We looked around, hearts pounding, waiting for any sign that the curse had been lifted. The museum seemed to return to normal, the oppressive atmosphere lifting. We cautiously made our way towards the exit, half expecting to be thwarted again. But this time, the hallways remained as we remembered them, and the exit door stood open, inviting us to leave. We stumbled out into the cool night air, our relief palpable. We didn't speak, each of us lost in our thoughts, processing the ordeal we had just survived. The museum loomed behind us, a dark silhouette against the night sky, its secrets still hidden within its walls. The exhibit was closed the next day, after multiple reports of paranormal activity. The museum issued a statement, citing safety concerns and promising to investigate the strange occurrences. We never spoke of what happened that night, the memories too haunting to revisit. The experience left a mark on us, a constant reminder of the dangers that lurk in the shadows of history. We had tampered with forces beyond our understanding, and we paid the price. The museum remained a place of fascination for others, but for us, it was a place of nightmares. Ethan, once so fearless, became withdrawn, haunted by what he had seen. Our group drifted apart, each of us struggling to cope in our own way. The memories of that night remained vivid, a haunting reminder of the thin veil between the world we know and the darkness that lies just beyond. As I recount this story, I still feel the chill of that night, the whispers echoing in my mind. The museum stands as a testament to the past, but also a warning of the dangers that come with disturbing what should remain undisturbed. Some things are better left forgotten, buried in the sands of time. If you ever find yourself drawn to the mysteries of the past, remember our tale. Curiosity can be a dangerous thing, leading you down paths from which there may be no return. The museum is a place of knowledge and wonder, but also of shadows and secrets best left undisturbed. The exhibit may be closed, but the stories remain. Tales of those who dare to venture where they shouldn't, who seek to uncover the dark corners of history. The spirits may be silent now, but their presence lingers, a silent warning to those who come after us. I often wonder what became of the obsidian statue, if it still holds the same malevolent power. Perhaps it has been hidden away, locked in a vault to prevent others from suffering the same fate. Or maybe it remains on display, a seemingly harmless relic with a dark secret. As for us, we've learned our lesson. The past is a powerful thing, filled with both wonder and danger. It's a reminder that some stories are best left untold, some mysteries left unsolved. The spirits of the museum have taught us that much, and we carry that lesson with us always. If you ever find yourself at the Metropolitan Museum, take a moment to appreciate the artifacts, but also respect the boundaries of what you do not understand. There are forces at play that we cannot comprehend, and it's best not to tempt fate. The museum will always hold a certain allure, a place where history comes to life. But for us, it's a place of caution, a reminder of the night we faced the darkness and barely escaped. The whispers may have faded, but the memories remain, a haunting echo of that midnight in the museum. As I finish this tale, I hope it serves as a warning to others. The past is a place of shadows, and sometimes those shadows reach out to claim the unwary. Be careful where your curiosity leads you, for you may not like what you find. The museum continues to draw crowds, each new exhibit a marvel of human history. But for us, it will always be a place of fear, a reminder of the night we encountered the unknown and came away forever changed. The whispers may be gone, but the fear remains. We live with the knowledge of what we experienced, a burden we carry in silence. The museum stands as a testament to our past, but also a warning of the dangers that lie within. Respect the past, but be wary of what it hides. Our tale is one of caution, a reminder that some things are better left alone. The museum is a place of wonder, but also of danger. The spirits of the past are real, and they do not take kindly to being disturbed. If you ever find yourself tempted to explore the unknown, remember our story. Some mysteries are best left unsolved, some secrets best left buried. The past is a powerful thing, and it's best not to provoke it. The night we spent in the museum will haunt us forever. We learned the hard way that curiosity can be dangerous, that some things are best left undisturbed. The museum is a place of history, but also a place of shadows. As I look back on that night, I realize how foolish we were. We thought we were invincible, but we were wrong. The spirits of the museum taught us a lesson we will never forget. The past is a powerful force, and it's best not to anger it. Our story is a warning to others. Be careful where your curiosity leads you, for you may not like what you find. The museum is a place of wonder, but also of danger. Respect the past, and it will respect you. Midnight in the museum is a time I will never forget. It changed us, made us realize the power of the past and the dangers it holds. The museum is a place of history, but also a place of shadows. Remember our story, and be wary of the unknown.